Welcome back to Clydesdale Media, where we bring you the best from the world of CrossFit. Podcasts, news, special interest, health, fitness. If you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notifier so you're the first to know when we have new episodes. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Podcast. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I'm the Clydesdale. She is Kat Shear, and he is Logan Ewing. Before we get to him, got to thank our sponsor C4 Energy, Extend, and Cellucor. Make sure you use the code Clydesdale at checkout at cellucor.com or officialextend.com. That's officialxtend.com, and get at least 20% off your order. If they are running deals, you get 5% off their deal. So it's either 25%, 20% off if nothing. If they're running a deal, 5% off in addition to what they're offering. I love their hydration sticks. I love their BCAAs, and I love their vanilla ice cream whey protein. So make sure to go check those out again at cellucor.com or officialextend.com and use the code Clydesdale. All right, let's get to our guest, Logan. What's going on, Logan?
Just enjoying the active recovery / rest day.
Oh, no workouts to talk about today?
Absolutely not. I don't, and I'm glad about it. I have moved off of my couch maybe 3 times today.
Oh, good for you. Scott, did you get a workout in?
Today's my rest day.
Everybody's resting. I have not worked out yet, but funny story. My gym today, we programmed the last chance qualifier 100 burpees to a target for time.
Oh.
And there was like a little bit of a threat of an ice storm this morning. So my 5:15 class, everyone canceled. My 6:30 class, everyone canceled. My 7:45 class, there were 2 people and they did their burpees. My 9 a.m., the 2 people canceled. So we have had 2 people. So now I know when I want to break from coaching, program 100 burpees for time, and I'll have the day to myself. So I've been enjoying myself. And I'll do the workout later, probably.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask, did you cancel?
Yeah, I'll do it. No, I mean, I'll do it eventually. I started to front squat a little bit ago, and I wasn't feeling good. So I just got ready for the podcast, and I'll do something later today for sure.
All right. Yep. Well, Logan and I have beef. So that is why we're doing this podcast, so that we can settle the beef. Apparently, I said something that made him cry on a podcast last week. So I've apologized on Instagram, but that's not enough for Logan. So we got to have it out right here now.
Yep.
So what did I say that upset you?
The pure slander and misinformation that was provided last podcast that I watched of you and Taylor. You were you said something about
misinformation.
That I talk a lot.
Okay. Where is the misinformation?
I don't.
You are pretty quiet.
Oh, come on. Literally, the first time I met him was at Syndicate Crown. And I think I talked to him 37 times in 2 days.
That's it? That's not a lot.
That's just frequency. That doesn't mean like a lot was said. You just had contacts.
To back the other comment I made, you were telling me about your training partner, Gabby McClellan.
No, I said I knew Gabby. Okay.
Come on.
I've never trained with Gabby. She's way too far away. Way too far away. Not now.
Logan,
like obviously now, but
who's got
in
your
Colorado.
back?
You.
Who's got your back, bud?
You got me.
It's all good.
And then we talked about Kelly Stone, and I get a DM. Oh yeah, we were training partners.
Trained with her team because I was on one of their Wadapalooza teams.
You're adding stuff that was not the original.
See,
text.
Scott's not getting it. We need to stop now.
Misinformation.
Yeah, we need to stop. We need to move on.
And then Taylor comes on. I get a DM from you. Hey,
Yep.
that's my training partner.
And she 100% confirmed that. That was like an everyday thing for years. So
I think it happened with Paige Powers.
I trained with Paige. Well, I mean, I guess you say I still do, but went to Michigan with Paige. Not with, she was there, but
you didn't do the 12 labor. You didn't do the syndicate. Oh, shoot, what's the thing that MacFest? You didn't do MacFest with Paige, did you?
I didn't know that was a thing.
She did that a couple years ago. Just reaching.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So the comment I made was that every time someone from Colorado comes on, I get a text or a DM from Logan saying, hey, that's my old training partner. And you do talk a lot. There are 2 episodes from Can West that prove my point.
That was all business. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I agree.
Just talked about the events, nothing else. Never got off track. None of that.
I have a question.
Yeah,
are we
for
done?
me or for Scott?
Are we done with the beef?
Are we done with the beef?
Can I move on?
Put that to rest.
I've lost at least 3 minutes of sleep over this.
I suppose we can. We're good now.
Okay.
All right.
You're in Cookeville, correct?
Correct.
What did you do this weekend?
Like in terms of training?
Yeah, were you pushed out of your training facility for the weekend? What happened?
Yeah, I debated, the Johnny Knoxville when he like dresses up as the old guy.
I was gonna say, did you watch?
I debated doing that and then just going and competing, so then I could win some money and work out too.
Right.
I ended up not doing that though. I have like all the machines here where I live, so and like a barbell, just stuff like that. So I did. He did make a sticker of me. It's on the back of my laptop. But anyways, yeah. So I just like did some stuff at home. Snuck into Tennessee Tech also, but I kind of used it as an opportunity to like get some rest because I needed some a little bit. I've been training with Roman a lot, so any rest is appreciated. Like today, I might not do anything today, to be completely honest with you. Just I'm pretty beat up. My hand is like there's like 4 different spots that were bleeding yesterday, so I had to stop doing pegboards because I couldn't hold on to the peg because it would just slide off from all the blood. So, to answer your question, I just kind of did some easy stuff at home, mostly a little bit at Tech, but mostly just
for people that aren't. For people that aren't following Legends, was at your gym this whole weekend, so there was a bunch of Masters competitors having an
it was
event.
Cool too because Jason Grubb, who I've actually like kind of known him since I was like 15. We competed at a local Colorado event together, and then Cal Charrington, I've known him for a while through his son. His son used to go to my dad's gym. So I just kind of stopped by and watched them. And then one of my buddies, Connor McDonald, was coaching somebody there. So just went and kind of hung out for a while. Like, I think I went every single day for at least a little bit.
To see how it was. Cool.
It was cool.
Yeah. Well, they put on a good event. I mean, were you part of the Mayhem Classic at all? Were you around at that time or no? Yeah. Nope. That was a cool event too. They just, it's a nice space.
12 then.
Yeah, I was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hadn't made your way south yet.
So you subtly name dropped Roman.
Yes.
That you've been working out with him.
Yes.
Surprised I didn't get a DM on that one as well.
He's not from Colorado.
That's true.
That's true.
True. A little bit further away than Colorado.
It's cold though.
So I, it's been out there that he has moved to Cookeville.
Yep.
And is he training there full time?
Yes.
Is he officially Mayhem athlete now?
Yeah. From what I've heard, his programming's from Facundo. And
Hmm.
so like,
So pretty much mayhem.
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, Facundo is mayhem. He does like, he works with all of the
European
foreign athletes, and yeah, he does like the individual programming too for a lot of people within the States, I guess. I didn't know how much his role was, but I guess it's a lot. Like, I thought it was mostly just like the foreign athletes, but I guess he does a lot of individual programming. And yeah,
when he speaks like 18 languages, so he can really
Yeah.
communicate with everybody
they're
pretty
like,
well.
they were having a debate the
Smart
other day. They're like, I think it's 7. And they're like, I think it's 8. I'm like, I know 1. So 7 or 8 is pretty cool. Like,
I know 1 and not very well even.
I know 1, and then I know like the
Kinda
bad
well.
stuff in Spanish. I don't know anything really truly useful in Spanish.
Right.
And that's like, yeah. So that's impressive.
Love it.
So now you've got quite the stable of athletes there. Haley has decided to stay.
Yep.
You've got Roman there. I don't know what Luke and them are doing. Are Luke and Angelo going team again? Is Luke going individual? Or are you not at liberty to say any of this stuff?
I'm at liberty to say some stuff about that. Luke has said he's 100% committed to individual. I talked to Angelo a lot about team stuff. Luke has floated the idea of Angelo and I going team. And
that'd be cool.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
Just got to see where the chips fall. But yeah, as of right now, I don't think we have a team yet. Any team at Mayhem, which is crazy because we had 3 last year.
And it's the rules have definitely been softened because you don't have that 100-mile radius anymore.
Yeah.
You just have to do the workouts in the same affiliate, which makes it easier. But you also have some time then, right? You have until the first open workout to kind of put that together. Do you think going team would be good for your career to get some experience?
Yeah. That's why I'm open to it, is because I know it would be really beneficial for me in terms of the experience. Yes. And then like being on, especially if it's the only team, being on a Mayhem team gives you great exposure, gives you better opportunities. So then you don't necessarily have to worry as much about sponsor stuff, because if you're on a Mayhem team, like some of that stuff will take care of itself. And then, yeah, definitely just getting to train with the purpose of the games. Like, obviously I still trained hard through the whole summer, and kind of was just there to be whoever's punching bag, whoever needed it, for the games. And like that, yeah, I definitely got fitter during that, but there's a difference when you're training to keep everybody else, just keep them fit, just be along with them. And then there's a difference between that and then actually being ready to go. Like I had to make sure I was ready to go, because I was the independence alternate. So I didn't want, if one of them got hurt, I didn't want to be the guy that steps in and just completely ruins it for everybody. So I made sure to stay fit after Atlas, for Can West. And then after Can West, I was like, I can hold my fitness for another few weeks.
So let's go back to Roman real quick, because our sample size of Roman is, and I didn't realize you guys are training together. So this isn't even in my notes. Our sample size on Roman is really small because it's taken him 5 years to get here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What is it like day in and day out in the gym with that cyborg?
Yeah. So obviously, like you've said, there's studs down here and a ton of them. We've got even more people that have moved down within the last like month and a half. Like we got 2 from Michigan. They were on the 8th day team. They're good. Louisa and Lucas just moved from Brazil. They're good. Stu I think he's from Missouri. He just moved down. Like we have a ton of people, and it's like, it's just a different vibe with Roman. So like Luke, it was going to be me, him, and Luke kind of doing all the off-season stuff together, probably even continue it in the season. And Luke has a bit of a shoulder thing going on, so he's kind of been focused on getting that right while he's prepping for Wodapalooza. So I was like, hey, dude, don't worry about it. Like, I'll train with Roman. And so it's just been Roman and he's just dragging me from one thing to the next. And like, when he and I are like going out for a workout, you can kind of see everybody just kind of like watch us. And then we come back in and like, I'm like crawling basically. Like I'm done. Like I'm ready to be done for the day. And then he'll go, one more. And it's like, oh, bro. And then he'll pull it up. I write it down and then we go do it. And then he'll be like, okay, now rest. And I'll be like, all right. And he's like, come back in 2 hours. I'm like, oh, bro, 2 hours. Then we come back, do it all over again. And his workouts they're hard. They're very, very hard. And he's really good at everything. Like his biggest weakness, he is like saying kind of like handstand push-up type stuff. So like just inverted, I guess, on his hands type of those movements. And then somewhat muscle ups. And we had a workout that was deficit strict handstand, muscle ups, and double dumbbell overhead lunges. So I'm like, back when he was here in the spring, I'm like, this is a workout that I can actually like beat him on. So that was my mindset going into it. I was like, I can finally get one. He beat me by like 2 seconds. I was like, dude,
wow,
can I have something, man? Like he's so good at everything. And he just like every athlete that I've ever competed, trained, like anything with, like you can tell, even if it's just like a tiny bit, you can tell like kind of when they start to feel it in a workout, because maybe they wear it on their face, or maybe they actually slow down a little bit. Like you can kind of see the pain start setting. I don't think he has that. Like I honestly don't. There's workouts where I'm like, I'm in the middle of the pain, like I'm dying, and I'll look over and he's just chilling. And it's like, bro, how are you not dying right now? And then like as soon as if we're doing like intervals, as soon as the set's over and it's the rest break, he's like dying on the floor. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I can get him. And then as soon as the next one ticks, he's just right back, like just nothing's going on. He's perfectly fine. I'm like, so he goes so hard during that he doesn't feel it during. And then as soon as it's over, he feels it. But then as soon as it starts again, it's like, all right, we're good.
The urban legends
Impressive.
are already starting because there is such a small sample size with him. And in our chats, like he probably grew up fighting bears and drinking vodka. You know, don't forget the bushel of bananas he eats after every wad.
Yes. He had like 8 in one day during quarterfinals.
Eat bananas.
Jeez. My stomach would be gurgling so hard if I ate 8 bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that on the air one day. Eat 8 bananas like Roman and see how we react.
I think it was Angelo and I maybe that we like looked up, like we're like, maybe they're like a delicacy in Russia and they just like don't have them available. Mm-hmm. No, they have them like we have them. I was like, okay, the man just likes bananas. And I mean,
what's this? Is this your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. He knows. How's Roman's English coming along?
It's actually like, I was surprised because there was none in the spring. Like,
yeah,
even like pretty simple stuff he didn't necessarily understand. He knew like all the movements, because I guess that's kind of like, from what I've gathered with all the.
Is that Bad Blood? That should have played at the beginning of this.
Yeah,
that is my ring. That's my ringtone for everyone. Sorry, I'll silence my phone. That was my dad. I'll call him back.
Yeah, so like when he was here for quarters, like from what we've gathered, like international athletes, they still use like the same English terms for movements, so then they know them. So he knew all the CrossFit movements. He knew banana, but it was very limited. And unfortunately, like when we have like people that speak Spanish, like there's some you can kind of translate stuff and kind of pick up on what they're saying.
Yeah.
If you look at the alphabet, sounds like I don't. It's hard to. There's no correlation between the two, but yeah, no. Since he's been back, I guess when he was in Madison, the people there are Russian, and obviously they speak English now. So I think they helped him out a lot because now he understands quite a bit of it. Like I don't talk normal necessarily, but I use like the same words I would. I just don't talk like as fast or say as many words. And then like you just kind of look at him and he like, there's just like a quick second and then he's like, then he starts to go and it's like, huh,
Use your hands a lot. Do you do like simulated sign language sometimes when you're trying to
sometimes,
explain some things?
Sometimes. But it was funny. Sasha, when they were this summer, they're Spanish. They don't speak a ton of English, and they were telling me, they're like, you've been good, because I spent a lot of time with her and her husband. And they're like, you've been good for us because you talk so much that we've started to learn English. And the other day, Roman said the same thing. He was like, Logan is good for my English. He talks a lot. Like, all right.
Great.
Why was that again?
Because I talk a lot.
Okay. I rest.
Who's throwing who under the bus now? Yeah.
Hey, Jack had my back though on the day 3 of Can West, or maybe it was day 2 post, when you were saying how I talk a lot, and then he said that I'm actually pretty good in the warm-up area. So at least I've got one person on my side.
Well, Jack talks so little that you just kind of offset each other, so you become the yin and yang together, and it's all
That's
fine.
true. That's very true. Yeah, Jack's a good dude. I like Jack a lot. After the final workout, he was like, dude, I have a flight to catch. He's like, do you know if we need to stay for like, now this is funny now,
for the prize checks?
Yeah, he was like, do we need to stay for our checks? And I was like, I don't know, bro. And he's like, okay. And then he like stands there, he's like, can you go ask the guy? I was like, sure. Like, I'll go ask him for you.
It's like a raffle ticket. You have to be there to collect your prize. If you're not there,
because we were all there. We were all there, and
I know
none of us got our prize. So.
Oh, unfortunate.
So that's actually a great segue. I actually have that on the board. So the Can West fiasco.
Yeah.
When you were there, did you get a sense that this was going to be the way it was? Or did you feel at the end like, no, this was all right?
No, I mean, there was a lot going on the whole event that was like, this is weird. Just issues going on the whole time that made it sound like these wouldn't pop up, and then they popped up and they didn't, like, no one knew what to do. So it's like, all right, so we're not preparing for that. We kind of got some inside info on like the whole HWPO side of things, like that they initially weren't going to outsource their programming, and then they decided to, and that now they're in the hole. And then this venue cost came up. I'm like, why was that not handled beforehand? Like, it was
you
good
were hearing
workouts.
all of this during the competition?
Yeah, like,
oh, that's stressful.
Saturday night, I think. And then so as we were leaving, Cooper and Brett, the 3 of us got a room by the airport, because we left. All 3 of us had early flights, and like where we were at was really far from the airport, so we didn't want to have to wake up at 2 a.m. And on our way there, I was like, hey, like, was that weird that we didn't get anything payment wise today? And they were like, yeah, that was kind of weird. I was like, because every time I've ever had prize money at a comp, like, you get it while you're there. And they told us there that they would get our banking info. And I was like, okay, so they're not doing checks. Like, that's weird. But then I was like, all right, whatever. And then they're like, you'll have it by Tuesday, so it won't be a big deal. Like, we're talking 2 days. I was like, all right, that's fine. And then when I got back, so I got back late Monday. So I guess like Tuesday morning rolls around, and I was like, all right, I'm supposed to get paid today. And then like it completely slipped my mind, because I went back to the gym to train just to make sure I was ready in case I needed to go with the Independence team. And then like Thursday rolls around, and I'm just sitting here, and I was like, we never got paid, did we? And I like checked my bank account. I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't. And then they sent us an email. It had to have been probably that Thursday. And they're like, we're having issues because of the American bank accounts. And I was like, that just doesn't seem like a valid reason. Like, it's not like you can't send money to people that are in different countries. So then I was like, I feel like that was an excuse, but whatever. I was like, maybe they're just behind. And then it just kept more and more kept going. And I was like, I don't think we're getting paid.
Yeah, because, we've had sponsors that are Canadian, and they send me PayPal.
Yeah. There's ways And you like, yeah, it's not that complicated. Like, think about how much international business is done. Think about how many athletes that come to North America, like especially here at Mayhem, we have a bunch of athletes that aren't from here. So they get money from other places. Like, it works.
Yeah.
Otherwise it just like, that seems stupid. So that was like kind of telling. I was like, all right, we're probably in for something right now. And then it just kept getting worse.
So did they keep perpetuating the lie all the way through the year? Because you still haven't gotten paid, correct?
Oh no. I don't think we are.
Yeah. You've written that off.
Yeah. So then they like came out and said that we would get an email by like August 31st. Didn't get an email then. And then after they put on Can East, they sent us an email like 2 weeks later with like this plan to pay us. It was going to be like 3 months. You get 25%, 25%, 50% at the end of each month. And I was like, all right, you know what? Like, it's late, but better than nothing. And so then when I was so our first payment was supposed to be, I want to say the last day of September. So we headed out to South Carolina for Crash Crucible. And I think I was at Chipotle with my buddy and Luke and checked my email. And I was like, I still haven't gotten paid. Checked the bank account. I was like, still haven't gotten paid. 3 days later, I'm like, okay, something's up. Email, like, message James, message a couple people. I'm like, hey, you heard anything? Have you gotten anything? They're like, no. I was like, all right, so we're not getting paid. And they're like, yeah, we can't stick to this payment plan. Like a week later, I'm like, bro.
Figured.
And then like 2 emails later, maybe I like stopped paying attention to their emails after that. But then like 2 emails later, they told us they're putting on new events and they like asked us to promote it. And I'm like, no. Like, that I would feel stupid promoting that. Like, hey, here's this event that
but probably telling you like, hey, if you don't promote it, your chances of getting paid are, you know, like, if you promote
100%.
it will help you get paid, right? And you're like,
yeah, which
I
get that 100%, but also, like, if you know what a Ponzi scheme is,
right,
they're definitely leaning towards Ponzi scheme. So I'm like, I don't really want to be a part of that, you know?
Yeah. What a shame.
So Wad Zombie put this up. I think it would be a huge PR move for CrossFit if they did this. But it's CrossFit's money. They can choose to do with whatever they want. That would be a really cool move if anyone stepped in and said, hey, we're going to pay the athletes and
or at least half
don't
or something.
Hold any more events.
Right.
Yeah.
Not allowed to be licensed anymore.
To be honest with you, if I just got like, if it was just like they sent some of us the money back that it took us to travel there, I'm sure it still sucks. Like, it still pisses you off a little bit, but at least then you're not in the hole, you know? Like, if you can at least break even, like, that's fine. And still doesn't fix everything. And yeah, like when this was all going on, like one of the people that worked there, actually Bella, she was the MC. She like messaged me. She's like, hey, you guys still haven't gotten paid? I was like, no. And I was like, please tell me you have though. And she's like, yeah, it took a month of arguing back and forth. And I was like, well, you know, like, at least for her, at least she got paid, because whether you're the guy that got last place or the guy that got first place, everybody that went to that competition to compete was competing with the chance that they make $0. The people that went there to work went out there with the expectation that they're getting paid no matter what. So it's like, for her, like, yeah, and there was another guy too. I'm like, at least they got paid, because there was no risk for them. There's risk for us. Like, you get hurt or you just don't show up and perform very well, you could walk away empty-handed. Or if you win it, as of right now, you still walked away empty-handed, but that's besides the point. Like, for them, like, they went out there, that's their job. For us, it's like, we're trying to win that money. For them, they went out there because they were guaranteed money. So at least they got paid. Like, that's one thing.
Yeah, Bella's crushing it too. She was an MC at this weekend, was she not?
She was
Oh, she wasn't.
Dubai. I
Okay,
actually
I
couldn't
knew
tell
she
you who
went
the
to Dubai.
MCs were this weekend. They did a good job though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're like, there were a bunch of people that had the mic, so maybe it was just
Yeah.
people that were volunteering. I don't know, but everybody that had the mic did a great job this weekend.
So I also wanted to talk about, because I didn't know this until I interviewed Taylor, is that your dad owns a gym.
Yep. CrossFit 970. Loveland, Colorado. Check them out.
All of Logan's training partners work out there. Just kidding, dude. So you grew up in a gym, right?
Yeah.
And how beneficial was that for you doing what you're doing today?
Oh, I mean, it was very beneficial. Not just from the fitness side of things, but from a business side of things. Like my brother and I would, the summer of 2018. So when I was training for the games, we would go in on Sunday and spend a while like helping in every way we could with the actual construction of the gym. And then from there, like just hearing my dad, whether it's talking to me and one of his business partners or just talking to me and my mom, just hearing like the business side of things that goes on there. Like you learn that. And then for me, I've tried to apply that as an athlete, like my business side of things. So that was big too. And then you have an expectation of how you're going to act and how you're going to carry yourself when you're the owner's son. And so that was like the biggest thing for me is I was 16 when he bought into the gym. But everybody used to think he was the owner from the time I was like 10 years old. So I was always expected to act way more mature than I was. And luckily, I think that carried into aspects of my life that have nothing to do with CrossFit, like just being able to carry yourself correctly.
Yeah, I can see that totally. Do you ever see yourself owning a gym yourself?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. No, it's a lot of work, but it definitely, they have fun. They put a little lounge area upstairs, like right before I went home last time for Thanksgiving, and they put a ping pong table up there. And I swear to God, half the people there just spend their day there now. I'm like, you guys all just quit your jobs and this is what you do now. And my dad bought his own ping pong paddle because the regular ones just aren't good enough. And then like everybody else has their own paddles now. I'm like, you know what? At least they're having fun. Like it's a fun time. Like you guys look like idiots, but at least you're having fun.
Because there are no competitive people in CrossFit.
No, none.
None. No. So how often do you get back to Colorado?
In the off season, a lot. I spent all of August there. I went back in September and I went back in October. And these September and October is like a week. And then I went back for Thanksgiving for a week. And then I'll be back I leave in like 6 days. I'll only be back for a week. I wanted to be back longer for Christmas, but I got to move my stuff to a new place. So can't really do that, unfortunately.
And how long have you been in Cookeville?
I think the day I got here was January 2nd or 3rd. So almost a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seems like you've been there for a long time, but really I just met you at Syndicate. So it's been less than a year.
Yeah. When you met me at Syndicate, that would have been like 4 or 5 months that I'd been here. Yeah. It's crazy. Like the off season, it was weird because like I had Wadapalooza. I left for Wadapalooza, I want to say only like 5 days after I moved here. So I never felt settled in. And then like when we got back, like training was very different. It was less structured, like in terms of group stuff. So until like semis training, maybe a little bit before quarters, but until like semis training, it never like felt fully like, I don't want to say home, but like normal yet. And then like once you put in that work for semis, then it becomes like that's your normal. And then you start to be a lot more comfortable with all the people. Cause like a lot of the people, I didn't have a relationship with them until like right before quarterfinals. Obviously like Haley, Paige, I knew. Luke, I knew decently well just from when I visited. But that was kind of it. Like, and then now I feel like I can have super long conversations with any of them. And then like when the new athletes moved to town, like I know what it was like. So I try to like help them along as best as I can. And I feel like, I just feel like it's kind of hard moving to a new place like that, especially because for the people here, like there's new athletes moving in all the time. So it's like, they're not focused on you. They're focused on continuing training. So you kind of got to just help each other out, pull each other along.
So I want to get to Zelos Games. You were one of the 24 athletes that got to participate there. I contend that the future of CrossFit are going to be at events like that.
Yeah.
Where you can see everybody in a heat, run smaller events all over the world as opposed to like one big event. What was your experience like?
Oh man, I'm sad that I didn't really get to do day 2. But that was so fun. When Jared, it was my last day, I think, of one of my visits home to Colorado, and I was training, but I wasn't like training. And Jared texted me while I was at dinner, and he's like, "Hey, would you be interested in coming out?" I was like, "Yeah, when is it?" He's like, "It's a little over a month from now." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Count me in. I'll do it." Like I haven't been to Vegas. I went back one time when I was 18, but I used to live there when I was like really little. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm always down to go back to Vegas." Jared's an awesome dude. Like I spent quite a bit of time with him when he came to Cookeville between Syndicate and Mac. So I spent quite a bit of time with him. We kind of hung out in the coffee shop. So I was like, "Yeah, dude, like anything. Yeah, I'm down." And so I was super glad to go out there. And then when the format and stuff started kind of coming out, I was like, 4-person heats. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like never done that. And then when we were going on that first one, I was like, this is actually like really cool. And the vibe was awesome too. Like I knew quite a few of the guys already. But the ones that I didn't know, like I swear, like we were like all super good buddies by the end of the weekend. Like usually like you get like a group of a couple people that you start to like talk to and be friends with throughout the competition, like all 12 dudes and even the girls, even like we were all like just having a good time. Like there were not a lot of pressure, you know, because it's like we're doing this for fun. We're doing this because we want to promote the event. We want to help Jared out. Obviously, like we're going to take it serious on the floor, but like nobody's like the stress levels. That was the lowest it's ever been at a comp. And yet we were still like just all out on the floor. So it was really fun.
Well, you came out like a house on fire, doing really well. And then you suffered some kind of an injury and you're pretty open book. So are you doing okay now?
Yeah. Last night, I guess, would have been the first time that I've done any jumping since then. I thought it was a good idea. It was not a good idea. So I was snatching and I figured I would just save energy by power snatching as long as I could. And the 245 bar, I power snatched the first rep and my foot caught the logo that was in my lane. And so it slid out and then just twisted my knee up. Yeah, it was actually pretty bad. I didn't realize necessarily the extent of it. When I came back, got looked at and they were like, yeah, I think you did a little damage to your MCL, ACL. And then when I was in high school, I broke the tibial plateau, which isn't a big deal. Like it heals pretty quick and like you don't have to do anything really for it. It just really hurts. And so I did that again. I went and got looked at and they were saying it was a grade 2 MCL, ACL tear, meniscus, and then the tibial plateau. So I was in rough shape. Like it just swelled up a lot. So when I went and got evaluated after that event, like they're like, I don't think you should continue. And I was like, there's only one event left. Like, I would rather do 1 rep on the floor and have to quit than do 0 reps and just sit in the stands. So I went out and tried it, and yeah, it didn't go well. It didn't go well. I on one of the, I think it was the second devil's press, I like went up, and as I was going up, my left leg like slid a little bit, and I was like I shouldn't have done this. Like, I should have sat this one out, but no, it's all good now. Like, I just got to be a little cautious of things. Just make sure I'm squatting with like excellent technique. And other than that, it's
form,
fine.
Yeah.
I say I hadn't jumped yet. I really hadn't jumped until yesterday. And I was doing 48-inch box jumps with Roman. So that probably wasn't the best introduction back into jumping. There's double unders and 48-inch box jumps. So full send.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you a tough question now. Right.
Uh-oh.
So as an observer, your weakness is getting stronger, correct?
Yep.
Right.
100%.
Damaging your knee is not ideal for someone who is trying to get stronger.
You know, I was thinking that too.
Someone who is young like you did a lot of events this year in the off season. Looking back, should you have dialed that back a bit and worked on your goat? Or are you addicted to competition?
I don't know that I'd say I'm addicted to competition. I actually enjoy training more than I enjoy competing. I don't know, because South Carolina, like we didn't taper for it. And man, that was a hard event. I'm not gonna lie. Probably should have tapered for it.
That was crash.
I'm really glad like that I did that, because how hard the programming was and how different it was. Like, it gave me a chance to touch on the things that I needed to do. Zelos, I'm glad I did it. Obviously not glad with the end result with my knee. But I think the first event was telling to the things outside of strength that I've been working on, which is, number one, just believing in my strategy and believing like that I'm going to do it right. Cause I always second guessed myself when it came to actual game time. And I didn't second guess that one. Like, anybody that watched it, the last round of bike, I sat on the bike and I watched everybody else start doing their step ups. And I was like, that's fine. I'm going to beat you where it counts on the muscle ups. And shout out Brian Friend. He told me that he could tell that I've been working on my pacing, and he was complimenting my pacing abilities, that was my, honestly, probably my main takeaway from Atlas was my pacing. Obviously, yeah, I need to get stronger. But my main takeaway, I think, is that I need to, number one, just believe in my pacing and then stick with it and pace it properly. So I felt like I did it correctly there. But Can West, like, other than the money thing, I don't regret doing that. I needed something to keep me entertained, to keep my fitness up between semis and the games, just in case I had to go. So that was good for that. So I'm glad I did all the competitions I did. And that's part of why I decided I needed to find a third teammate for Wodapalooza. And because one of them, he took an RX invite, which is 3-day. And after that, I was like, you know what? Maybe I just shouldn't do Wodapalooza, and I should use this time to really give myself an off season.
And so is that what you're doing?
I think that's
good.
Yep. No Wodapalooza this year. Next year, okay. Technically.
I think that's smart.
Yeah. So I'll still have dedicated time to get stronger. And then even through quarterfinals, I'll be training with the goal of getting stronger in mind. But unless you're Haley, you don't get to ignore your CrossFit as much, because she's so good at literally everything else that she can put so much emphasis on strength. Like, she doesn't really have a weakness other than strength. Like, everything else in CrossFit, she is so good at. And so I want to continue to improve as much as I can across the board.
So let me ask you this. Haley now has some special strength coaches that are working with her other coaches to get her to where she needs to be.
Yep.
Does any of that become available to you working out in the same place as her, or is that just Haley's coach?
I mean, yeah, it's just Haley's coach, but I mean, she's offered to let me hop in. I just now, what is it? 3 weeks now? 3 weeks now that I've had my own strength coach. His name's Cole. He's out of Annika's gym, 782. He's Brett, her coach, called me and he's like, "Hey dude, like I want you to meet this guy, talk with him. And if you think it's a good fit, then you should do it. If not, like it is what it is." And so far I've enjoyed it, getting stronger. And it was good because he eased me into it a lot more than like other cycles, like strength cycles would, which was perfect with coming off of my knee. So yeah, I like where we're at with that. And our plan is to continue building through the season, like even before semis, like want to really peak and be as strong as possible for semis. Even quarters too, like a little mini peak in the strength for that.
Any other changes going into the 23 season?
No, not really. I guess now I'm kind of full-time Roman's punching bag, which has been amazing. Honestly, like he's kicking my ass every day, but it's good. It's really good for me because I'm pushing the pace on stuff that like I'm hitting numbers on machines that I didn't know existed. And still not keeping up with him. I held at the end of a workout the other day, it had 50 cals at the end on the Echo bike, and I held 500 watts, and he still beat me by 15 seconds on it. I don't understand it. And then we did a 10-set workout, 10 sets every 2 minutes, 20 cal bike on the C2 bike and 10 deadlifts. And I was so impressed with myself I was holding like 2,000 on the calories per hour. And he was destroying me on the bike. And I like walked over, I was like, "What are you holding?" He's like, 2,500. I was like, I didn't know it went that high.
Wow. Wow. That's
What
exciting.
does that do from a
That's cool.
What does that do from a mental perspective? Like it's cool that you get to work out with this cyborg, right? Who's doing things that you didn't even know were possible, but you're like, you call yourself a punching bag.
Yep.
Do you have someone that you use as a punching bag on certain events in the gym? Do you beat up Luke in muscle ups or something just to feel better?
No. I'm fine with it. I went from training for like just back home for years, being like the only guy up there. Yeah. And being a big fish in a small pond. And now that I'm down here, I'm like, you know what? I moved across the country for a reason. So if I'm not winning every workout, like that's good. That means I should be here. Every now and then, like there's some guys around the gym that they're not quite semifinals levels athlete. And so I'll like every now and then do stuff with them, and not that I need it or anything, but yeah, like you beat them and it feels kind of nice to not lose every once in a while. But at the end of the day, like that's not what it's about. As long as I'm still improving on the things I need to improve on, like that's all I can control. Like I'm not going to hang with Roman on a machine, but if I'm holding a higher pace than I normally would, like what is there to be mad about? I damn sure
that's
can't
progress.
Damn sure can't carry a sandbag like he can. It's like normal for him. Like we were doing like 200-pound carries, and like I'm not bad at carries, but eventually after so long, I am gonna have to set the sandbag down. I don't know when he hits that point.
So your victories are in seeing your numbers get better while he's your rabbit.
Yeah. He's a pretty good rabbit too. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like even when we had Ty, the kid that won the 16-17 division, when we had him down here for a little bit, I did his Wadapalooza team qualifier with him, like the workout. And it was a workout that normally I wouldn't be good at, but I'd been working on like devil's presses a lot, and I was able to do really, really well on that workout. And afterwards he was like, dude, I don't know how you held that pace. And I was like, he's like asking me how, and I was like, bro, I don't know how I held that pace either. I was like, I'm just as surprised as you. Cause I like told him, I was like, hey, like, do you want me to go all out or do you want me to pace you? He's like, go all out, fully expecting it to be like super close. And yeah, I had a really good workout on that one. And I was like, yeah, dude, I don't know how I did that. Yep. I
true
am
or not true.
It's true. Dude, I'm telling you right now,
you are the sandbag.
he's not a human. He posted on his story the other day, like a picture of his like bed setup, and it's just the floor. And this is right after he moved. So Angela and I are like, hey dude, like if you haven't gotten it to Cookville yet, like we have extra mattresses if you want to borrow one. And he's like, no, I have bed. He's like, bed is for wife. He's like, I like the floor. And I was like, bro, what? Dude sleeps on the floor. I was like, all right. As I've got this
Another
nice
urban legend
foam mattress, I was like, dude, maybe I need
that's got to be a new game show. We just say outrageous things about Roman, and are they true or not?
Yeah, it's actually funny. There was one of my friends saw his baby, and he was like, hey, like he has 2 babies. I was like, no, like he has 1. They're like, no, he has to have 2. They're like, because the other one was born like 9 months ago. I was like, yeah. They're like, that's the baby? I was like, yeah. They're like, I thought that was a 2-year-old. I was like, yeah, no, that's the baby. I mean, he's got good genetics, so he'll be fine.
Baby's running already.
Yeah, he's already clean and jerking 300 pounds.
All I can picture is a WOD with like an 800-meter run. You collapse halfway through, and Roman picks you up and carries you back as his finisher.
Yeah. No, that's not even his finisher. That's his, yeah. That's like his easy.
His cash in.
Yeah. No, he's such a good dude, though. He's so nice.
I want to ask you, Logan, back to Zelos Games. Did you have any interesting encounters with the head judge?
Hiller?
Yeah.
No, we kind of went back and forth at each other, like joking around. I've had like some conversations with him since like April. So
okay.
He came over and he was like, we were all at the briefing, so we all kind of knew what was going on. And he was like, make sure you don't touch your monitor on the bike, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I was here at the briefing. And he was like, I've already dished out 6 penalties. I was like, okay, I was here at the briefing and I paid attention at the briefing. He's like, all right, then you should be fine. But no, I mean, we were there when he was doing his cleans, his split clean at like 355 or whatever. And I was like,
right.
All right. And then he was, as he was kind of walking around, we were all like, he's on drugs. Like it doesn't count. So we were all kind of just going back and forth with him.
Were you there when he fell off the salmon ladder?
No, that was the night before we got there, but I saw that video and I was dying. I laugh because like that's something that would happen to like me or my dad. And like that looked like it hurt. I was like, damn, son. Like he pancaked onto the ground. I was like, dude.
I thought he lost consciousness for a second. I had to rewind and slow-mo that to make sure he didn't. Yeah.
That was intense.
Yeah. And then I think Margot Alvarez posted yesterday her doing the salmon ladder, like 2 rungs at a time.
Oh, that's got to make Hiller feel good.
Yeah. Because there's nothing Margot Alvarez can't do.
I didn't watch it intently enough to know if he just did he just straight up miss it or did he just go back too far when he came out of the first one?
I think he was trying to go back down.
Yeah.
Oh.
And just missed.
Yeah, he was fine going up. It was trying to come back down.
A little too aggressive coming out of it.
Yeah.
That's the story of how it goes. That's how I was on the pegboard yesterday. I about fell like 3 times, and then Roman came over and looked at my hand. He's like, no more, no more. I was like, probably a good idea.
I'm glad he's looking
So
out for you in that regard.
My last question for you. Last time we talked to Paige, they had just finished the new Mayhem Athlete area at the gym.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Are you working out there, or do you guys still go out to the barn sometimes?
So Roman and I, we're the first ones there every day. I like working out at 8:30. He likes working out at 8:30. So it works perfectly. So we'll go out to the athlete area and we'll start our warm up there. And then kind of depending on what the workout is, we might go back into the main gym. But it's always between those two, between the athlete facility and the main gym, especially in the morning, because in the morning it's closed. I think the gym closes from like 9:15 for a while. So it's just us. So it's a lot easier to train in the main gym at that time. So like if there's peg boards, like sleds, for him, he doesn't like to lunge on the flooring. He prefers to lunge on the turf. Which is weird because he sleeps on the floor, not on a mattress. So you'd think that wouldn't matter, but apparently it does.
Who knew he had fragile knees?
Yeah, just stuff like that. We'll go out to the main area for rope climbs. You can do them in the athlete facility, but it's definitely preferred to do them in the main gym. And then in the afternoon, it gets pretty packed in there. Like between the class, which is, 20 people, and then there's probably another like 30 plus people that are just there for open gym. So like athletes, yes.
Oh, wow.
Obviously only a select number of that are like semifinal and games athletes, but there's so many people here that are quarterfinals athletes that are in there still grinding. So there's no shortage of people there. So in the afternoon, we try to stay in the athlete facility. Sometimes that doesn't.
Is this going to be your first open at Mayhem?
No, I did the last one there.
You did it last year. What does that look like? What is, do you guys all get together, film, judge? How does that work?
Yeah, it's like, I think kind of we use it as like a pre-run for quarters, just to get that type of stuff down. But it's super chill. Like, I didn't know what to expect necessarily. So I went home to Colorado and surprised my dad for the first one. So I watched the first one here before I flew home. Mm-hmm. So I didn't necessarily get to see like the ins and outs of it. But then like when week 2 for the deadlift one, there was a big heat of us. I think it was me, Haley, Guy, Angelo, Bailey, and Paige all went together. And it's a little hectic, which is good because that's what you want. So you're used to it for quarters. But then week 3, I ended up going with just Rich and Sam. And that one, I was like, all right, I'm going to push the pace a little bit on this one because that's kind of cool. But no, it's super chill. It's like quarterfinals, but more chill, honestly.
I was just trying to imagine like the logistics. Do you guys do it with the affiliate? Is it part of Friday Night Lights?
No. We do it Friday morning when the gym's closed.
Okay.
But I think they let people, even though the gym's closed,
they
let people come watch. Not a lot of people do, at least for the first 2 weeks. But yeah, it's super chill. There weren't a lot of people that watched quarterfinals either, just because there were so many of us going that it was hard to like say, yeah, you can come watch, because when you have, 20 athletes doing it, it's
trying to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to correct you a bit because you said when it gets hectic at quarterfinals, if you're in a gym where only like 3 people qualify for quarterfinals, not so hectic. Yeah. Not every gym is like Mayhem.
Well, in 2021, I don't know how many people we had qualify for quarters at my dad's gym, but I think only 3 of us did it. And it was me, Taylor, and then another guy. And it was still, just with all the stuff you have to do with filming and everything, it's still a little hectic. Like, it's not easy. Quarterfinals aren't necessarily fun for anyone.
Yeah, and it's a lot in one weekend. I was giving you a hard time, but so with Rich kind of semi-retiring, not doing team anymore, is the barn kind of closed now, and
Yeah,
people are more using the athlete area?
yeah. Yeah. Not a whole lot of people are going up there. They have the studio up there for like the Mayhem Athlete on demand workouts. So it does see quite a bit of use for that. But yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of just in the athlete facility, or just in the main gym.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then,
Rich gets his house back, you know.
I don't think he quite gets that yet. No.
so last question, you say you and Roman work out at 8:30 because that's just what you guys prefer. Are there like training groups that like come in during the day? Like these 3 people do this, these 2 people kind of work out over here.
No. For the most part, everybody gets there at they get there at various times, but for the most part, everybody kind of starts around 9:30. I don't know. I don't think there's really any reason why 9:30 is that number, but that just seems to be like the popular time for them. But it's different who works out with who, in the off season, especially because like sometimes there's a workout that'll pop up and somebody's like, I don't really need to do that right now. So then they end up maybe they do something completely on their own. Haley's been doing a lot on her own, or just like some people that aren't athletes or even trying to be athletes will join in on her stuff and kind of just like do like her weight and stuff like that. So it's different for the most part right now. Like the only like established like group, I guess, would be Roman and I do his programming, and everybody else for the most part is doing whatever Rich has. But Rich he's been gone a lot since the games. So when he's gone, then that group will kind of do their own thing still, but maybe it's not his stuff because a lot of the times he's out in the mountains shooting elk. So he can't really be worried about their programming. So yeah, for the most part, everybody knows what they need to work on right now. So if there's a group of people that know they have the same thing they're working on, then they'll tend to stay with each other the whole day. But like the mornings are a little more group based, I guess, for that. If that makes sense.
Well, that's all I got. Kat, you got anything else?
I just want to thank everyone for the nice comments in the chat.
What I want to say is, please stop. I have to
Loving
live
it.
with her every day when all this stuff happens.
Oh, I love it. So great.
You guys are
You guys
killing
build me
me,
up.
just
I
so you know.
appreciate
All right. Well, with that, if you like
Logan's
what you heard,
"What
make
is going
sure
on?"
everybody
I got you,
is
Logan.
telling Kat how good she looks.
Not me though.
So anyway, if you like what you heard, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notifier so you're the first to know when new episodes come out. And with that, we will see you next time on the Clydesdale Media Podcast. Thanks, Logan.
Thank you.